Hello, curious crowd. I want to say good evening out of force of habit, honestly, but we are in midday, so I say almost good afternoon to everyone who's watching. You are watching into Double Overtime Essentials TF Experimental Cup in the summer 2024 season. In the map pool, we have Process, Snackwater, Sunshine, Gullywash, Sultry, Granary Product, Bagel, and Metalworks, as we are not only testing how to cast while it's 35-degree outside for me, but also weapon bans, or rather unbans, since we are covering whether or not the gas passer, the base jumper, and the market gardener and Ben have such a pivotal role to play in future seasons. But we're watching Avalon versus NOOBPANZER Black. We'll get to the rosters in a little bit, but I am Domato. I am accompanied with Steven, who might also be a toaster for as much as we know, but you'll get to him in a second. And Stu, as always, cooking up the production in the background. Steven, is it okay now? How are you doing?
I'm hoping things are going to be okay. Pre-apologies. Apparently my mic's having crazy peaking, but I got into the server way too late. So I am afraid we probably are just going to have to deal with it here. But I'm looking forward to this game. Two good teams. I think our 4th and 5th seed from that round robin stage. So should be a super, super close one here.
My ears are already bleeding, but this is the sacrifice that we have to take. Just quickly, since we don't have that much of an aforementioned countdown going down, Avalon is playing against NOOBPANZER Black. We mentioned them before, and I just want to quickly, very quickly, introduce the storyline of this experimental cup. Avalon, they played like game 1 to game 4, so 4 games in yesterday's group stages. During a Swiss group system in game 1, they won 5-2 versus Epic Gaming, 5-1 in game 2 versus NOOBPANZER Black was a win for them, so they won against NOOBPANZER Black in their original game. A 3-2 win versus a team that I won't mention, but then afterwards in game 4, 5-1 loss versus Mandem, who are the team to beat here, and Hexeries on Scout, Salty on Scout, Netty Nude and Rotisha on Soldier Pair, Highlander as in a 6s game mode, whatever, on Demoman, and Eon on Medic. Steven, NOOBPANZER Black.
Yeah, it's looking like it should be equal and Corey on those scouts. Should be a good pairing there. Then we have GG on Soldier, and I assume that's going to be Rivka on the other Soldier. And it should be finishing things up with I think that should be Marco or Med. They're all doing their funny nicknames here, and then I have no idea who's your Medic and Demoman. They've all got funny names, but we are starting here, Domato, so why don't you take us off?
I will definitely get us started here, and this is also experimental, since rules of TF2 don't apply for the sake of viewership. We will just call them by their fake nicks, I suppose. So this will work essentially, as I even have to figure out what side is what. Avalon is featured in the blue, and the red squadron is comprised of NOOBPANZER Black, who controlled the high ground early on, but it seems to be taken away from them, as Rotisha gets a huge rocket there, and they're culling the enemy team. 4-2 is the advantage, and Normal so weak after this entire encounter went down.
Yeah, they just kind of destroyed them over on the high ground. Those rockets just getting so much damage raining from above there, and they cleanly kept their Medic alive here. So pushing already onto that second point. They're going to be having a little peek into last as well soon, seeing if they can find anything. But huge Uber advantage for them. This might be a quick first round hit.
Speaking of peeking, no, I'm not going to make any jokes here, but Lenny has 100% Uber in his bank. There's a little sticky trap on the right wall. Let's see if they can hold steadfast here, but they're confronted with a 90% Uber disadvantage as we speak. Lander already shot down to double digits, 18 HP, very low, healing him up to full fitness and trailing through that 5 area.
Yeah, they are walking in. Uber is now used here over on this 5 area. They're walking over this left side, trying to deal with the creepers. Soldiers coming in here. A lot of disruption, but UG is going down here. But the cloud is coming out. There's no captain on point. Uber is still alive. This makes it a difficult push for this Soldier. Living for so long, there's so much focus on this heavy, but he still manages to live. It's finally taken down, but the players, they seem like they have to like it. This is going to press a little longer, but this might be a little bit of a if they decide to stay in here on Avalon. They do eventually have to back up NOOBPANZER. who managed to keep securing that last point, at least for now, and they should be able to push out the second as well.
They are also so far pushing them out. Indeed, Rottisha is going to get exploded in that choke, and I have a little theory, a game theory here. First flop, last push, and Hexery and his scout compatriot companion should have just focused the point there, where while the heavy was occupied and could have probably even kept it, but we're in here, Hexery on sniper in the forward spot.
Yeah, he's not doing too much work here, but so no one got him forced that medic to use his Uber here. Now Normal is going to have a Uber advantage. They might even be able to catch this medic of Lenny out here. He's so close to the choke point, however, enough players are around. Just a one scout goes down in dark because they want to be pushing out on NOOBPANZER. Black is still in this demo man, but somehow it's going to escape from that sewers area. But now our Ubers are going to even up a little bit with one player down. NOOBPANZER Black do have a small advantage if they want to try to push things here.
NOOBPANZER were able to push even if their demo man, I am guessing, that was down, and Empire is going to join the fun in a second. GG is not going to join any fun anytime soon, gets piped in the forehead, and Empty being down didn't really discourage them from pushing that midpoint and even more sealing off the chokes. On the contrary, Avalon were a scout like missing, so there was no real denial. Some bolts getting flung over. We also have a scout patrolling in the sewer area, but they're only poking and prodding and watching their Uber advantage fade into insignificance.
Yeah, the Ubers are about even on both sides anyway, so I wasn't expecting to see any aggressive pushes, but now NOOBPANZER, they are coming back. Scout runs in, don't come and make a little bit of distraction as Demo Man quite far forward is allowing a lot of space to be taken, and that is Lander going down, maybe overextended a little bit on that Avalon side. Now with no Demo Man down, you can play a lot more by this sewers area, so we worry about these soldier bombs that are coming through. The skies are quickly cleaned up here on the NOOBPANZER Black side. They're taking things slow and steady here, and it seems to be working out. And we might see an Uber trade come here, aggressive scouts, and it is exactly what it's going to be. But look at this, Lenny not to use his Uber. Oh, it's only 30% on Lenny, so surely he's going to be chased out. Uber does favour, plays the positioning really well there, but NOOBPANZER Black will pick up that second point, but it's going to be much harder for them to push into last here.
Lenny on 10 HP after this entire fight concluded, and at the advent you could already see that the cautiousness was not really there, since they were milking it for so long, and in the result had way better Uber management on the red squadron. All the while it has rendered the Ubers once more being equal, and it has flip-flopped to who is that to the last point of Avalon currently, as they're getting pressured through the one area from GG. Might scurry away with his life intact, he does. And we see a double pick. I'm not sure where my forecaster went, but we see a double pick, and Lenny is even going to get shot apart. We have a lot of damage going onto that point, getting it capped. We waited over 5 minutes for a last point to be secured, and it is a fake nicking team, which is not really devising them all that much. I do think it was NOOBPANZER capping it, so being pushed onto their own last, but taking a 1-0 lead here. Alright, I don't know if I timed out or something, but apparently I am now in the void. So, let's see, we have another mid-fight going on. I'm just going to keep casting, even if nobody is hearing me. GG is going to bombard the high ground, but going to get charged upon by Hexery, and the complementary soldiers bomb in. Rottisha, I am completely alone. At least someone is hearing me. Like Highlander did survive that, and once more we saw the blue faction took that high ground control, and they're going to completely bombard Normal there, get his face rubbed off, rearrange some facial features with that newly unbanned Market Gardener by Rottisha onto the MT Demo Man, and that has went to pass this time around a little bit faster, and especially losing Normal in the round before. Normal did survive and not fall down to a sort of a chasing potential of the enemy team. I will just keep quiet, maybe. I'm not alone anymore. No, still alone. Anyway, so 70% advantage on Avalon's face, and in their own medigun, the soldiers are always owning these skies. Barcode and Hexery are on that point. Nothing really is going to fathom them, and it will be, I'm guessing a very, very standard cookie cutter push. Not without lander though, that should not be cookie cutter for any of those teams. Pushing without your demo, getting charged upon early, going down in the health numbers. Barcode doesn't really have anything to do here. He's a pocket scout, but he's only escorting his own medic out of there. 70 HP onto the medic, but lander, Natinoot, sorry, was into empty and completely exploded the enemy demo. Still, Normal survives that onslaught since he was not early on peeking out of that one area. And am I still alone?
I am back now. Yeah, that was a lovely bomb by Natinoot to get onto that demo man side, not to be greedy. Does get a force here as well to the side of Avalon, and they might just decide to push in now. They want to back out and build this Uber up just that little bit more. They know they have about a 60% advantage to try to go in here, so they did a good job of kind of pressuring everything there. Tried to send a player to point, tried to send some players over to the medic, and now already on 90% Uber, Lenny should be popping this through a doorway.
I want to say that Avalon really does trust in their soldiers, and they do deliver so far as Lander gets that earliest flash and the impetus of pushing into their own right side area and destroying the mechanical ward and the sentry gun worked out well, but they don't really find anything after the advent of that push though. Gigi is going to lose that 1v1 against Hexari, who is on the beam, and he's a scout and he's just going to get it under their noses away. Barcode that was 1-1 tie.
A nice round there for the side of Avalon. They will be happy with that one. They've won both mids so far, so we'll see if they can be third time lucky. They've actually looked quite confident on these mids. I mean, I think the last have been a little bit difficult, but they've been playing them reasonably well, and we'll see if they can make it a third time a charm here. The
very first mid fight, by the way, in the very first round was essentially almost won by NOOBPANZER. Since they controlled, you can already see the scout pair of NOOBPANZERs trying so desperately to get on that high ground, but they're not really able to do it. Natinoot is already controlling toward that sewer area, this little shed, and they're rotating here counterclockwise into the enemy team. Now the sides have swapped, the chokes have swapped. 0 casualties onto any side, and Gigi is going to get absolutely exploded upon. Normal is still beaming on his own side, but let's see if they can find a salvation and scurry their resources out. And Lenny is going to get charged upon by Mush, but he gets rightfully so mushed into the corner. Normal is leaving the vicinity. They're cutting their losses. And again, Avalon with that mid-fight win this time, though it took as much as the two first aforementioned mid-fights that we saw previously being played out. Equal and Highlander are pushing through the IT area.
Gigi just goes in there, gets the headshot straight onto Lenny, drops them, giving a huge advantage to Highlander backboard.
That helps with telling me that you're back. Let's see if they can salvage the last point. It's only one up Hexari. That will not work out.
Yeah, no, they had to go for a last ditch there to try to go to the point, make something scary happen. There's no point really staying on that second here. You know they're just going to take it for free. They can flood through so many doorways on this process map. So you get second for free, you might even get mid for free. You don't have to worry about the sniper who's setting forward spot.
He's always sitting in this dangerous, perilous pole position, and they're not really eager to push here. Mush is jumping in though, and Gigi is not Jagostino, but on the sideways, jumping through that area. Huge airshot that denies Natinoot any venue into exploiting any more like area denial. Ruttischer is going to sneak out, and a 30% advantage still for NOOBPANZER. They're using that aforementioned Uber advantage into an absolutely open space. I don't know if the fault really lies within the communication. Also, I guess alongside teamed up with this in the execution only get Ruttischer down, so the offensive Uber is going to come in, but completely into open space. At least they find two players. That works, I guess. Oh, last cap. It is equal, who is not even equaling the score lines now. 2-1. Fantastic, just snacking in from behind. I'm also, you see already why it's so experimental. I always have to guess whether or not I'm alone, or I'm not, but I am alone. Equal just snuck onto that last point very, very easily through their defenses, as they were so preoccupied with their push out of the blue faction as this. I have to calculate. Wow, fourth mid-fight commences. Crypto thrower Corey is trying to throw some bitcoins their way, alongside with a little, I can't speak anymore. Pistol, and Mush is going to get mushed upon by Ruttisher, so 1v1. Soldier win, Hexery gets a cult, and it's a 1v1 trade. GG not really in a preferable position anymore. Normal beaming his pocket scout, and the demo man is still up. On the contrary though, for Avalon, their own pocket scout perished in that encounter, and it seems to have been so equal since no team has lost their medic. They have their core, like their nucleus, still alive. And am I still here? I am still here. Okay, let's go. So 17.5 minutes that you have to listen to my voice. I am not really encouraging you to do so, but you have to make do what we do. Hexery is going to switch to the sniper class and see how he can scope out the angles. He is firmly settled in this sewer area, and NOOB tried to control the shudder area, but it makes him shudder, getting jumped upon point blank, and also he was snacking in through behind their lines. Lenny gets forced upon since his health numbers did not really favor him anymore. Hit points that were hit point central. GG cleaned up Mush as well. Lena getting a 2k accompanied with his familiar scout, and can easily wait for their spawners on the side of NOOBPANZER. Avalon did find some salvation in like fortifying their defenses, but Avalon is still in the advantage here if they play their cards right. 6% advantage and only waiting for their spawner. Sorry, it was NOOBPANZER waiting for their spawner. So Avalon have to peer again where the enemy team wants to push from. They're holding also quite far back, as you would. NOOB, Barcode, and Ruttisher on the high ground. Now Highland, no, MT is going to jump in again and open like an Uber into open space. I don't know if this is so experimental. Also, sticky traps should not be experimental. Equaling the number situation. Lander so weak as well. Mush a little bit loadsome in the air, but Crypto Throw Corey is charged upon. Nothing really helping him here. He's going to snap through IT. Very brave of him, taking a second rocket though after he denied the first health back, and furthermore losing his life. If you really just look here, NOOBPANZER didn't even cap the midpoint. They were so close. That is back cap potential, but not if you lose all of your players. 3 players down. Normal on 50%, and that looks like an Avalon team trying to seal out the deal and tie this game up.
Yeah, they're just pushing straight into the last here on the side of Avalon here, getting in very deep mix area on the sniper, trying to pick. They get a second, this is surely going to be around evening it up to 2-2 here.
You know, it always seems to be so defined by who wins this mid-fight. In the first 2 rounds that we saw tied out 1-1, and afterwards it was a similar game plan as in round 3 and round 4, were very conjoined in what was the winning condition. Just saying it out loud. Long mid-fight on both of those rounds, but afterwards 2 flopped Uber pushes from both teams, but the conversion rate was a little bit better on the side of NOOBPANZER with a backcap, and now with Avalon and with this very good coordinated push through the wow, through the choke. Normal is dodging. Normal is dodging like a little bunny rabbit, and he did not get a force upon, and again, mid-fight win for NOOBPANZER. But let's see if they can make something out of it. 80% on both of those sides. There's still Lander lacking. 0 denial on those chokes. Nothing is chock full with stickies. You can easily walk through. Nothing is going to bother you. And we have to already watch a soldier leaping in onto the last point. GG on top of Lenny. Lenny is getting pressured. Mush is getting the final rocket. He had to use Lenny. Cornered in his own left side spawn area, and it gets to 100% Uber force. Also, I want to quickly highlight, this is an experimental cup. I always only saw the spoon, the meme spoon, the Market Gardener, when he was clopped in the face like on one occasion, so I'm not really sure what we are experimenting upon. MT is down, and Normal needs to use. The Scout Chariot is already charging through, and let's see if they can find some rockets here. Yes, double soldier onto Lander. 0 safe space for him to back up into, but GG gets his head scrutinized by a head, and the medic claiming that frag for him. Also Archimedes leaving the body. That is why I don't disable Gibbs, but Normal is also only then leaving the vicinity in tow with MT, and NOOBPANZER Schwarz, so NOOBPANZER Black for all you German fellows here. Really just flopped the last push, but we are under half time as we speak, and this almost like 6th or 7th mid fight unravels here. And Lenny will charge upon with the lander alongside with Hexery. I do think they're getting charged upon though. Gigi is bombing the choke and they're not really controlling, well, maybe could have even a little bit delayed the medic there and sort of are falling into some rookie mistakes, I'd even say. I mean, I have no co-caster to prove me wrong on that account. 100% now for normal, and we can watch Avalon if they can do as the mythical empire that they are probably named after and don't perish afterwards, since they're now in an uber disadvantageous position but completely kited. Only Gigi really falling. And Cory is still about, and some troublemakers are not really the ones that win this fight. No, it's another backcap, this time not by Barcode but by Hexery. And they charge upon a lead in a 3-2 timely fashion. I don't know if they want to have a 4-5 scoreline in the end. It will be an absolute masterclass of a game. So let's take a moment to catch my breath here, as Highlander is the first one to really arrive on that point. I didn't at all see Empty. He was very forward and didn't even pick up the health pack rather. Barcode and Hexery are trying to charge upon this high ground, while Cory and Equal are a little bit well, we're a little bit passive early in that fight, but now they're trying to contest this top area. Equal shot weak gradually. Gigi is controlling the area. Lander not really having the call to back out early enough. He's shot down to around 40 to 50 HP. It forces Avalon to back out so much. Lenny therefore was open to the spam, and his health numbers furthermore just don't really favor his own team to go aggressive, since he's so passive. He gets forced upon. Normal doesn't even have a weight, though he isn't in any favorable position to keep healing, and Lenny picks up the medigun off his opposing medic, who got absolutely blown apart. But speaking of being blown apart, they find the counter frag. The trade happened. Lenny did perish, and there was a full wipe on the red squadron, but they had such a strong and surgical precision fire, which is not really expected, I suppose, by a Panzer, but it worked out. I guess we have to do what we can here. I'm not really sure if this is in my contract that I signed up for this, but I need my voice for tomorrow. Anyway, Rotisha is going to get charged upon, and a double scout pair is walking into Hexery. There is 0 protection, 0 help, 0 aid for that man, as the sewer area was a very fitting name, getting put into the dumpster. Lander is trying to control the area. Double sticky trap on the choke is not enough, though. We had Nutty sneaking in on the spy class. I hear the little tinky revolver, the Latranque, or the L'Étranger, as everyone who's saying that has no French in school, came out, but it was not able to find the damage numbers. Also, normal is ticking up now to this equal uber percentage. The stakes are quite high, since you have to keep in mind that NOOBPANZER tries to get into the semi-final. They want to tie it out here. Lenny's going to get shot apart. He drops that uber. Perfect precision fire once more. Point blank. One rocket up in the sky. Little pencil jump, surf only, and then afterwards eradicates that medic who pencil jumped out of the server. Cory is trying to chase out Rotisha, who's not really doing anything anymore, and only now 4 times on that second cap. The red squadron is going to seal off this round probably in a second if Hexery doesn't have anything else to say. He's on that left side, seen from the attacking point of view on that sniper class. Barcode is going to get buffed, and we have to watch the 5-3 area where already NOOBPANZER is trying to take some position before this uber.
This might be the start of a good fight for them here. Not getting trades, but however, it's looking too good here for the side of Avalon. They do manage to hold onto this last, but now keeping that 3-2 lead. About 8.5 minutes remaining here. It's still all to play for.
absolute crush by Barcode, who cashed out in the literal meaning of words, serving his namesake, a 3K that was on the heavy weapons guy, and afterwards still vying with the enemy team and forward even more so. 20% advantage onto Lenny, but fastly approaching is normal on those equal percentages. And Natinud is trying to bump in on half HP, but picks up the health pack in front of IT. Should be the first victim. He does get cleaned up before this Uber fight can commence. It should maybe be, in theory, be forthcoming, but never mind. Lena is peppered and they're backing out.
Yeah, they just had so much high ground there on the side of NOOBPANZER. There was no way they could really try to stay in after losing Natty Nu. They just didn't do enough damage or displace enough players. Now is that big bomb in? It's been so successful before, but it's not a full commit this time. They're just trying to get some space on NOOBPANZER, see if they can make a distraction for Soldier to try to come in here. There is a little bit of aggression in IT, and here is the big bomb. Here's the commit. Can he find that last rocket? No. Takes Lenny down to 30 HP though. It's a very, very close one.
Could have been the second mid-air drop, but Lenny, no slack going onto him, honestly, since that was a brave hold of that Uber, especially if you have to consider the psychological warfare. He already dropped in a similar situation like one or 2 minutes ago, so this time around though, holding on, trusting in his pocket scout, it slows down a little bit, and Natinud is falling on that flank, but Curry is equalized.
Yeah, it was close there. I was a little bit worried Hexeri was also going to get cleaned up there, but no, manages to trade out there, so not too much should happen for now. There's a little bit of aggression coming out from NOOBPANZER and Sizcho. They maybe just want to have a little look, see what they can do here. They're busting a little bit in IT, a little bit in Choke, and it's actually working quite well for them. They're sending these players back. You've still got the scout to get through. However, Hexeri and IT does go down there, so this leaves a bit more of an open lane. These soldiers are watching it closely though, so I don't think anyone is going to get in through IT anytime soon.
Avalon omitted to securing their own IT area, but still Lenny is getting charged upon. Second drop of the game. He dodged the first soldier, only taking one rocket, but the second soldier point blank in his face, and that was enough damage to release a sizzling cacophony for the Avalon team. But it is normal getting charged upon even more as this game unravels in the time numbers. It's only a force. It is no drop. What I wanted to say earlier, by the way, 30 seconds ago, Avalon didn't really control their own IT area. Natinud was able to snuck out alive, but afterwards losing one player, losing another, and it allowed all the space. And we see this though, second point is still off contestation.
They've been so good at taking kind of this initial space on NOOBPANZER and then just getting in and finding themselves an advantage. So I think this is a smart play for them to just keep going in. Unfortunately, this time they do lose Corey, so they will have to back out, but it doesn't matter too much. However, losing GG might be another one, and Hexeri's just in so deep. He might even get this medic as well there, and he does. That's huge by Hexeri, also finding normal there. He's just going absolute beast mode, and now this is massive for Avalon. They just need to clean up a couple players, but Equal is going equally as massive there. Picking up 2 is going to really slow things down. They're not going to be able to push last with this now.
You don't have to be settled in a cleaning profession to see that this was a very clean and full wipe on NOOBPANZER, since no one was left anymore. That was a matter of around 30 to 40 hit points going, or falling rather, on the very unfortunate players in the for the perspective of the red team, as now this Uber advantage is going to come in from Avalon. GG falls in this early encounter, Mush as well, but the pivotal players come out. Second point still kept for Avalon.
Yeah, is that a mistake though? Because look how many, no one died in that Uber from Avalon. You still got both your soldiers down. That's no one to deny point. If they get to play this fast, they might just be able to secure things. Spawners are coming up now, and it does look like, unfortunately, it's just not enough time for Avalon to try to get in. Maybe that stack was a slight mistake there. If you just left one scout and then maybe locked out those spawn doors, you'd have more of a chance of pushing on that advantage here. But it is an Uber advantage, actually, for NOOBPANZER here, and they are in this lobby area. Look like they want to push out, actually.
They already pushed out, and they tried to catch Lenny, who was in the choke position, but so far cautiousness wins them this fight. 0 casualties in the face of glowing players is quite telling, and even more so eponymous. It could be this recharge upon this point, and Lenny did use his Uber, flashed a lot of players. He has the ability though, loses Barcode, Lander, and this combined damage almost cleaning up everyone. He had a lot of flashes, which definitely worked for him to keep his players alive, but then on the side of Avalon, they fell down. Hexeri is still on the hunt, but takes his medicine pipe in his face.
Yeah, I'm surprised Xeri kept going there. I feel like they got all the picks they kind of needed to, and they could have really established themselves on that second point and make sure NOOBPANZER could have, pushed out, or at least had a chance to push out. But now look, there's a demo man. He's getting aggressive. He's going to be backed out by a couple of his players here, and NOOBPANZER now have an opportunity to try to push out of these doors here, and they are doing so, getting a lot of players through one. However, that pick onto Mush by Xeri on the sniper, didn't think he would be up on that class. Now landing in a second as well here. This is actually huge for the side of Avalon, so maybe a little mistake to push out so aggressive there on NOOBPANZER. They look like they had good position, but sometimes all it takes is that one headshot to kind of ruin your day. Ubers will be evening up, and there's already some pressure in through 5 for the side of Avalon. We'll see if they want to try to take something. They do manage to get the force with some spam here, but it looks like Lenny is also going to get forced, and it's not in a great position. This soldier will go down in lobby here, but this Uber is already pretty much faded, and they're not really getting much more out of this. Do have to back out into this lobby, gonna find a soldier, and what a scrappy fight this is turned into. They could push this if they wanted to. They have that player advantage, but no, they want to back out. They know they are a round up. There is absolutely no reason with 2.5 minutes left for them to have to take a risky fight into last.
Now we see who the Panzer is, so the tank on the NOOBPANZER team. It was always the heavy. It's a daunting prospect, can't really push into it, but this initial fight was on the second point won by the sniper sideline. He's still up, by the way. Watching one, also stickies above one, will be difficult to push out. Also, they have Uber disadvantage, getting the sticky trap onto Corey, the shot onto MT, like Inland Empire 2006, good date. Yeah, afterwards got pushed upon. I'm quickly going to recap this failed last push in a little bit as we see another last push. Let's see if it can work out. GG is forcing the issue early.
Yeah, absolutely. They're getting these early picks. The headshots are ringing out. The Uber is finally forced out from normal here. We'll be able to chase a lander and take his life here. However, they're just wasting so much time here on the side of Avalon. When you do manage to get that Uber out of normal, it just means they're going to really struggle to push onto second, and then if they do push out onto second, they're going to really struggle to push onto mid here. So all this time they are wasting by taking these Uber trades is actually really, really strong. Even if you don't get that last cap, wasting the time, I think, is probably the second best option you can do here.
Precisely, you don't even need to cap at all. You limited them to now only 1 minute and 20 seconds to cap another round to tie it out, but Lender is going to get charged upon, doesn't even look at the soldier who was bombing him, but Lenny is furthermore going down in the damage numbers. Huge arc on that sticky, catches Lenny off guard. Now we know why there's this distressed emoji after his face, as his face got rubbed off, but they have to be quick here. Only 4 seconds on their 3 spawners to charge back into a almost fully set up squadron of Avalon, who still have some decent heavy hitters. Hexery along his own IT like sewer area now going to back out, and the soldiers still causing hair. You need to go here, 30 seconds only.
Yeah, but they managed to take down Inland Empire early there. Those soldiers just crushing in those doors just makes things so much more difficult. Losing your demo man could be absolutely huge here. Just means you're going to really struggle getting onto second here. And they are just backing things up. 20 seconds left. The Uber has come out from normal here. They know they need to get aggressive. They know they need to start stacking points. They need to get kills. These soldiers going in so aggressive onto Lando in one, but he manages to keep his life here. And it's pretty much GG time now. This is so difficult. They haven't got the second point. 4 seconds remaining, and that will be all she wrote as Avalon does win that 3-2 in a bit of a nail biter.
GG indeed. As GG went down, I want to point out 1 or 2 storylines quickly before we head into, I almost want to say a swear word, into logs. I'm just not going to judge them at all. Netinut was hiding on that choke area when there was only 10 seconds, and he waited for 5 players to push forward and then bombed the scouts. So even if they had a 1% chance still to win, this tactical play managed to give them a 0% chance to play, since he only needs to delay for 1 or 2 seconds, but even then they cluttered all the players out. Also, of this initial fight there on the last point, I wanted to mention that it looked pretty shaky early, but they had decent spawn waves on the defense, and especially the heavy coming up, which was able to, again, I think 3rd or 4th time in a row, secure themselves this last defense. But after you defected for 1 bit, I was happy that it was a good watch for you. It was also a good commentating, definitely for me. Wonderful game already. We're heading straight into Snakewater. Steven, do you have any favorable logs or numbers to look at?
Oh, that's a good question. I have not found the logs currently. But I think there was. I want to talk about the weapon unlocks for a second here, maybe while we're waiting for logs to be put
Yeah,
up here.
none got used. That is what I wanted to say earlier.
Yeah,
We even had a
where was
pyro.
I saw one kill from the Market Gardener and it wasn't even a crit. It was just a melee
No,
kill
he
for the
was just
sake of
hopping.
being a melee kill. What are these players doing? I was expecting them to try to be, the next Jay, just going for funny spoons all the time. But sometimes just two direct rockets. That's simply all you need. And yeah, maybe this map is a little bit different though, especially pushing into last could be quite difficult sometimes. Find those rockets, but maybe if you can put on the man tread, skip past that sentry gun on last coming into Snakewater, and there might be a funny spoon coming out. That's my prediction.
Speaking of which, I also have found some juicy logs. I can mention them in a second, but riding along those lines of aforementioned weapon unbans, maybe they're just treating this here as extra games. But yeah, honestly, maybe they tried it a bit more in the group stages, but should definitely have the capabilities for it, since there was a defensive pyro and you could use that gas passer to sort of throw into the choke, and it's almost just backup sticky, you could say, since you have area denial then, and soaked all these gamers then into oil or flammable liquid in any case. Also, especially maybe not base jumper all that much, but Market Gardener getting allowed. This is an all-time favorite of all those new coming and old dog soldiers. So I was very surprised that nothing really came of it and was not really reaped any merit. Still though, segueing that smoothly into numbers, Lenny still dropped 3 times. Sorry, I have to. That is my chronic lost duty. I have to point that out. I still do feel for him, though. He got popped up in the air like 1, 2, or even 3 times, I do think, and then, yeah, just got exploded like a pinata. In any case, Barcode tops the charts here. 29 frags on him, 6 deaths, 4.8 KD. Pretty crazy, honestly. I thought Hexery was a pocket scout, but whatever. Yeah, those Avalon scouts, we were mentioning them before. Me for 20 minutes and you like for 10 minutes. No, never mind. But they just were tearing through everybody, weren't they?
Yeah, absolutely destroying. It does turn out the barcode is agent here, so that makes a little more sense to me now. But yeah, just going absolutely crazy on that scout class. Was playing the pocket scout super well. You can see by those low deaths, having basically the same number as your medic just means he is basically just staying with him full time during that, just making sure that he gets out. Lenny did have those free drops, but they sometimes weren't at the most crucial times. I think kind of when you're going through those chokes and it turns the tides a little bit and turns the momentum is when it can be worse. But when you have a really good pocket scout and that is playing with you really well, that like we saw Agent or Barcode doing, yeah, it's just really nice here. But yeah, I mean both sets of scouts did really well. It was process after all, so that's usually what we expect. But I will say Rochester, I don't know how to say their name properly, but going 16-9 on Soldier on process is really solid. I saw them get some really huge multi kills, some really nice bombs, so we'll definitely have to watch them coming into this second map.
I always just say Rottischer like a true German, but honestly, what I also wanted to highlight here, those demo men didn't really have the highest damage per minute. I mean, Lender still with a competitive 264 damage per minute. Inland Empire 2006, still decent date. MT on 230 damage per minute, not the highest numbers. I'm expecting this maybe to change here, since you have a lot more chokes 100% onto the Snakewater, but you also have to keep in mind that this is not so open, for example, for Market Garden attempts, especially on that last point. You usually have snipers peeking. We already saw a heck load of snipers peeking, but mayhaps the pyro off-class weapon choices that are now allowed will come and salvage them coming to fruition. In any case, it is a 1-0 lead now for Avalon, so let's see if NOOBPANZER have what it takes.
Yeah, see if they can bring things back here. This is obviously a best of 3. Our next map, where we will be going into any moment now, should be Snakewater. And then if that does, go this way of NOOBPANZER, as you were saying, it potentially could. We'll be going over to Sunshine for that third map here. So yeah, definitely all to play for. And this is such a different map. I think, yeah, as you were saying, it's a lot more closed off. These demo man should be able to have a little bit of a better time. I saw in that last game, a lot of the time the demo men were just getting super rushed down. They were the focus target of nearly every push. So I think we might see things change a little bit here. There's a lot more you have to worry about. These soldiers, they can have a lot more impact as well on this map. So yeah, we'll kind of have to see. What do you think we might be seeing coming up from these mids? I have already seen that both soldiers on Avalon are running the Market Gardener, and I think they did last game as well. But do you think maybe they've come up with some strats to utilize them on this map?
I think they will try to get exactly that reaction that you just gave them on that mid fight to the enemy team and think, oh wow, they have a Market Gardener. They will probably bump in, and then they just do the normal landing up on Pride and spamming them out. But I would be excited to see one Market Gardener soldier flying in, even if he doesn't get any frag, for example, on the medic, which is the huge highlight moment that you want. Maybe you even hit a different player, and that's 195 damage, and that's a lot on a single player to come out. So basically one-shots everyone that is not a fully buffed soldier or normal soldier is close to full health, or demo man. So medic and even overheal scout completely eradicated. Although saying this, difficult to Market Garden fully buffed scout in the air if he's especially watching you, but it can force the ice and it always allows the space. I am championing a lot for players that are not only playing to get those juicy logs, get decent KDs, frags, and everything, but are objective and team-based gamers in Team Fortress 2. That bodes very well. And space created should also, although it is not accountable, a very interesting statistic to look at. But yeah, not really anything to see at the moment as we are waiting here. I am currently, since I stumbled a little bit through the Oxford Dictionary, I want to point out on the side of NOOBPANZER their own storyline, since they gave us so much time. They had a 3-1 win versus Siva Club in game 1, then game 2, I was mentioning it, a 5-1 loss versus Avalon. Let's see if that repeats here. 5-0 loss, 5-0 win versus Cat Emoji Explosion. I just want to bring it up because perfect name, I suppose. A 3-2 loss versus Epic Gaming. But yeah, that was it from me. We're still waiting here. Blue team is Avalon, red team is NOOBPANZER, and who are you maybe watching here? I'm mostly predicting the soldiers now on NOOBPANZER to have a little bit more impact, since they had zero fight to offer against those Avalon scouts. But we unload live here. I'm shutting up. Steven, go ahead.
Yeah, it's time that we get into the second map of Snake Water here. NOOBPANZER are on red and Avalon are going to be on blue here. We're seeing both teams take themselves onto mid here. Both Demo Man rolling out. Going to be a little bit of spam. Just finding their way here. No one super early committing. So as expecting, there is just going to be a little bit of spam going out here. Some readjusting of their positioning. And it is equal going down first here. Some good spam onto these soldiers on the side of NOOBPANZER. So it's looking pretty nice if they shove that left area and they've shoved the rest of NOOBPANZER out of mid completely. They've had to just leave with just that one casualty.
Was crazy that this longest range rocket even hit equal in the side, and then afterwards the hit scan is secured that frag on that scout, and it all forced them out though. The jumps come in, normal shot down to 50 HP or around that roughly. Allegedly, he is calling for his team to compromise the situation and charge a little bit forward, as Corey and Equal were obliged to do and secure the ground even more. So only a solo sec with normal rockets, no Market Gardener inside.
Yeah, I think you kind of have to, on this point at least, unless you're doing that super floaty high bomb, but Rochester just kind of wanted to maybe try to do the little off-timing sack there, try to take someone off guard, and it nearly did work, to be fair. Unfortunately, just couldn't really find the damage on that slope that they wanted to, but now everyone fully set up, fully buffed. Other side of Avalon now need to try to make something work, get someone out of position. They are all up in this saw area here. Going to be sending Lander in to try to get someone down from this high ground. They're just 3 players spamming on in. This makes it so difficult here, but there's no real eyes looking at lower. It's just been this one scout. They've got to be a little bit careful, because I think that could be a really good opportunity if they can find it on Avalon to get someone in from lower while they're taking the eyes and saw.
Crucial aided bolt into Netinood almost fell down, but 150 HP healed in the heat of the battle that was, and that secured his life for that much. Again, only poking and prodding through the saw area. You have mentioned it was onto Lander earlier to charge in, and afterwards Netinood. We don't see any off classes. I would have never mind. Netinood is going to get sweeped upon. I wanted for NOOBPANZER to sweep upon this grass and choke area a bit earlier, but it has come to pass. Opportunity maybe for a counter-sack.
Yeah, I mean, even if you do get him through that lower area, you do have to make that deficit from the low ground to the higher ground that the defenders will be in. And it's such a small rotate to really send your demo man there to just completely cut things off if that is what you want to do here. Lander is putting some stickies, so doesn't want these scouts on the high ground. This could, you know, show that maybe they are looking for something in lower here. There is a soldier getting a little more aggressive over Rochester here, and they have been pretty successful in the past on doing big damage, and it is going to be a bomb in. It is passes the market. And it's the first drop we've seen with it thus far.
Absolutely. Even has this rocketeer, or this weapon, sorry, to dig the grave for Normal and take his lifeless body right out of there. Wonderful. Let's see if they want to instantly, sorry, traverse into the midpoint, waiting for their forward spawners, since NOOB and Rotisha spawning, not getting denied, and with that empty is aware of it. GG also holding forward. Let's see if they can find some damage. Only some damage down to Lenny. It does not instigate him to use that Uber.
Yeah, take a bit of a risky push in there. That was a little bit scary. I was worried that the medic was going to get forced. Luckily, a soldier comes on through, does enough damage to help Hexeri clean up the players that were playing close here. Uber only 25% on the side of Normal, so they have been doing a good job of kind of pushing this aggression. They gave up a mid on the side of Avalon, but already able to cap second and only 50% on Normal. I don't know if they know that they have a little bit of an opportunity to kind of go for something if they go right now, right this second. Looks like they do, as they are already entering lobby. Taking a look at this left-hand side here, will be soldiers bombing in high for that distraction. They are creating space how you wanted them to at the start here, but Ubers should be about equalizing here. We're maybe looking for a player out position, but that heavy, far too menacing as the Ubers do come up for both teams, but not a sentry gun set up yet. This might be the time to try to get something if you are the side of Avalon.
As the cool kids say, that was a little bit cringe, since that Uber advantage onto Avalon was so far telegraphed, and then they tried to do this little bit of ring around the rosy in the aerial space, and there was an anti-aircraft gun, which was the heavy, and that completely rendered them useless. Now Rotisha is trying to bomb through the shutter area. The sentry gun is dealt with, but trading a soldier who afterwards takes out the market garden on the low ground just to show that he is on that weapon, but it was not really doing anything for him, obviously, after he emptied his clip and was on the low ground alone. Yeah, I mean, that was only a soldier trade for a sentry gun, and they tried to even see where Normal was positioned, didn't have that intel early on. Now, maybe typical Snakewater last experience. Also,
Yeah.
Spy, by the way, equals on Spy.
Ooh, this could be very, very cheeky here. Maybe just doing a bit of off-class checking, but he is out of
no, he's
spawn
forward.
actually completely.
No,
No. So yeah, this could be him pushing. It's going to be a bit of a slow one. He is on the cloak and dagger, and actually he just takes a rocket and instantly dies. So that's a Spy. He's dead.
Now that's high class. You have to catch those rockets. You know how difficult that is to catch them exactly like that?
That was kind of perfect. They also take down the sentry gun here, so taking a lot of space on Avalon, a lot of space on this left-hand side. Hexeri will go down to level 1 that was rebuilt, but Mush traded straight out there to get some cap time onto the point here. Just with the market garden out, so much damage from Rochester. He comes in afterwards, gets a lot of cap time, but I don't think there's any players who can really come in here. It's Lenny left alone. Barcode is alive, but he is nowhere to be seen. Finally, is here. Will the force come out from Corey? No, unfortunately, cannot find it. Lenny surviving on about 45 HP there. NOOBPANZER, if they want to try to take this, they did have the opportunity, but yeah, why would you give up Snakewater last for free? And you can just sit here for another however many minutes are left.
Could have done it if they got the final shots onto Lenny, but Lenny big trust into Agent, and Agent double meat shot, or 2.5 meat shots essentially to kill the scout. NOOB is rendered harmless, and Rotisha finds empty as a equalizing frag once more. So Lenny trying to buff his own players there into the right area to enable the spam. Rotisha claiming that sentry gun Mush, assuming now more of a proactive role to spam out players, but it gives nobody the possibility to have any off classes here, especially not. I mean, we're watching here for forward off classes, since you are really only enabling yourself if you have a player going down and then opening up the shutter. The defense can always switch most obviously, but sentry gun is once more going to get built, and only 2 minutes left in this round.
Yeah, they've decided to switch things up. They've been playing pretty cookie cutter, but Hexary is on sniper now. He's going to be taking himself into lower here, trying to find that shot. They've been really good at getting that sentry gun, but this heavy has been so oppressive as that kind of, I mean, basically second sentry gun, right? So we'll see what he can do. He is setting up by the shutters here. This should give him an angle onto the medic. We'll see if he can find it. Someone's got to open it up, and he beefs the shot, though. That was such an easy body shot. Unfortunately, could not find it. Didn't know exactly where the medic was going to be, but still having this aggressive sniper is good here, because now you can kind of put some pressure onto this soldier, and now the counter snipe is out, however, on Corey, so things are going to be much more difficult. We're back to that stalemate once more.
That was very scary for the medic. Hexary is rotating to the opposite side, but got a rocket firmly set into his face, and that was a surf out from him, but he's furthermore getting spammed. And Natimut, though, Rotisha, sorry, had a very quick high jump onto Curry, and the drop is going to come in. It was the ruse play. They came in. A rocket, not a market gardener. The only real infinitesimal silver lining I can give to that medic not dropping to a market gardener, but full drop on to normal, and that could be the traversing magnificent success formula for Avalon. Charging in already, Devil Man down.
Yeah, Hexary just hitting everything here, coming onto this last point. Super good from him. Finding that Demo Man means there's no stickies on the point here, and they do manage to take this one on the side of Avalon. That was really good. They knew they had that extra player advantage, and they had so much space and an Uber to play with. It was a bit of a no-brainer to not wait for the spawners and kind of let them get that set up on NOOBPANZER, because even with that full advantage, it can go also wrong on this Snakewater map. So they will happily take that round, and they are now going to be that 1-0 up. Still 20 minutes to go. Been a bit slower than we saw at the start of the process here, but we'll see if things speed up coming into the second round.
Soldiers of Avalon shining in concurrently of each other, as now though NOOBPANZER soldiers bomb in. Lenny is a victim, can't surf out enough anymore. Also a scattergun shot was enough to clean him up alongside with 2 rockets, but it's a 3 versus 3 trade, but it will favor the team, not with the high ground advantage here, but with the medic still on the field. Surely he's going to beam the players, can play this long term, since Hex is trying to do something from behind, but again, don't have any real beam there on that, on that forefront. So now it's difficult. They have that forward spawners, but they don't have a medic on the field, so it should be ephemeral only for Avalon. Indeed, NOOBPANZER is now capping it.
Yeah, they just play the long game there, right? You just keep your medic alive, keep him safe. That's all you have to do. It's fine if you lose the mid cap, because you instantly get it right back here. And the rest of Avalon, they are having to just hide away on this Bats area and pretty much have to give out for free here. There might be a soldier coming in for a bomb, and there's a bit of a fade and there's some spam, but that's pretty much it. They have basically given it up for free here. Lenny on that 80% on the Uber, so should be getting it for last here as NOOBPANZER do enter lobby. They're going to be taking it from this right hand shutter. A very classic push here. Now we'll see what they can do. They do actually use through here, so not expecting this Uber to come up maybe, or just want to try to maybe play this point fast. It does look like what they want to do. There's a heavy out of right spawn though, and no one is trapped off as the Uber just comes in and absolutely crushes from Avalon. They're getting so many picks and so much damage. Mushy just running away with 1 HP here. It's really sad. There's no one who can really go for those back caps. They're going to be checking everything as they push out to the second.
It was very standard, the mistake. At least some, or now not anymore abstract. They literally just counted the was incorrect. That was the reason why they also have some player behind. Equal is battling Hexary on that low ground, but Hexary with 4 HP wins that fight. Nothing is going to fathom him anymore. Lenny surfs out on the shed area, also shot down to only marginal hit point count, but it is enough to keep his own life and secure his team a 30% advantage. And only missing Rotisha against a 2-man down on the side of NOOBPANZER. That is an opportunity that presents itself if they count their cards right, but it could fade into insignificance. They're a little bit slow here, only 20% now.
Yeah, but it's not too bad. To be honest, they are taking all this high ground space and they are just bullying them back. It's so hard to get back into this fight here, and the scout also might be caught, so that is 2 down. The Ubers are going to equal out, so a trade is being taken. This is probably the best scenario for NOOBPANZER. It's about an equal trade, actually. It's not too bad for them in the end, but this medic, oh, he gets lost here. Will he be picked out? Will this soldier find him? Oh, shoots surf into window, but no, normal going down there, disconnected from his pocket scout, and that is unfortunately a massive mistake, as the rest of Avalon are just absolutely bulldozering their way into this lobby area. They want to take this straight to last and make that a 2-0.
They're always so close, NOOBPANZER here, to not only equal things out, but also capping last points. But we saw before only half the point and half the time capped, and now getting almost sold by their own 5% Uber disadvantage, and they lost their soldier and their scout on the high ground, since trusting in the medic to maybe follow them up. I have to only really guess onto external validation that comes in afterwards, since I don't hear the comms. Lander is trying to see where the defensive team is positioned, if there's any sniper, but there's not on the field. We can see Ubers coming in now from this high ground area into the heavy.
Yeah, this is exactly what they need to do. That's really smart from him. He's been so oppressive for them throughout this whole series so far. So going for him first is definitely the right decision. Taking down that sentry gun as well now will give them the option to kind of get in on this right-hand side. Now just trying to flood the point, but these soldiers and Demo doing so much damage. Yeah, there is a spoon onto the Demo man as well, but they're losing too many players on the side of Avalon, and what was looking like such a good push actually is just sending them straight onto second here.
And also Scout gets stuffed in cheese. Stuffed cheese for you. Rottischer is still trying to control the forward area. Nothing is there. But the demo man, the defensive demo man, got scooped up by the meme spoon. The Hexery is trying to come in through the right side. Even though they don't win that last push, they still have that experimental experience for them cut out. But there is a equal, little bit shot apart, gradually going down in the health numbers, but nothing is going to come off it. It stays 1-0 for Avalon.
Yeah, about a 30-second advantage lost there for NOOBPANZER, and both soldiers just get in. I think they're both on the pain train, or at least one is, and they just get so much cap time here. They're sending everyone onto the point, but there's not enough damage to really clean anyone. Hexery, he's hiding here. Can he find someone? No, unfortunately, is cleaned up by Inland Empire there in the end. But that was a really good try, actually, to try to get in. They knew there wasn't a sentry gun that was going to be set up onto that lower area, so just tried to go for that Hail Mary. Oh, but the dropping barcode. They were going to trade and then try to, make it really difficult for NOOBPANZER, but actually goes completely wrong, as they don't even get the force, and they lose their medic. They couldn't have gone any worse there for the side of Avalon.
Tries to jump in. That is so many mistakes. Come on, kill the last straggler. There we go. Nutty Noot only trades then with equal. That's the usual bane there. The medic trying, I mean, obviously, yeah, the medic dropping the scout, but afterwards leaving with Lander through under, and Lander just jumps out, doesn't even protect his own medic, leaves him there to die, and then afterwards comes in while being in a 1v5 situation. That was the worst out of two worlds, and it leaves them with this 70% at a disadvantage is still in their face, already set up on that last point, don't want to contest a second at all, no real fight left in their gears for that second point. Also no force coming out. You have to hard build a tier Hexery on that sniper.
Yeah, I think this might be the first advantage push for NOOBPANZER. No, they tried it before, but it evened up here. And I think that's exactly what might happen, as Lenny has done a great job of building already on 90%, so should pretty much even up by the time they get in through these doors. They are just kind of trying to set things up. There is a player behind it being a little bit of a pest, so unfortunately not allowing them to push into last three. Rochester is cleaned up though, so that is going to be one less soldier, and if they manage to spam out this sentry gun like they are trying to, it would be a massive opportunity to push.
Almost losing that 1v1 battle in the lower lobby area. Dispenser gets turned into scrap and balls, inconsequential for that much. Rottischer was behind before we saw equal being behind. Corey not keeping his life as a little bit undisciplined scout, peeking too far forward. Rottischer is going to control his own left side area seen from his own perspective, but can't really scope out the angles anymore. He can, but he doesn't see anyone. Mush is leaving the vicinity, and let's see if there will be an off class. Corey is switching to sniper.
Yeah, so it's going to be a sniper v sniper here. We do have Hexery up on it on the defending side here. So, yeah, should be a battle here. There's a fight going in under it. It does go the way of Rochester. He hit some nice rockets onto Mush there to kind of clean him up. He was trying to be a little bit cheeky, catch someone overextending, but Rochester was expecting it here. But needs to make sure he doesn't lose his own life to someone. Hexerry goes for a hero shot, doesn't manage to hit it. Unfortunately, still needs to be careful of Corey on the other side as well. He does have a great angle onto Lander. Unfortunately, can't hit that headshot to finish things up. And Mush comes out on the spy. He's committed.
So far the snipers have circumvented the enemy sniper sideline, as we only see Hexery on that low ground, and on the contrary Corey was postured on that bridge, and now we have Mush going in, sneaking through lower. He walked to the sideline, Equal sort of gave them a red herring, maybe, but got fully charged body shot, and the spy is sneaking in, already shot down to 69 HP, so they're well in.
Natty Noo went for a very funny spoon there as well, but this spy is decloaking. He's on the point here. He doesn't go for the sniper, he's going for the sap, and it's going to be the bomb in. Can he find anything else? He's onto the medic, but no, they can't find enough here, even with that sentry gun destroyed. And now some soldiers going absolutely high, trying to find the life of Inland Empire, but somehow he's going to live. I don't know how he got out of that one.
Oh, he's still not out of complete harm's way. Getting charged now. Delays the spawn wave there for 10 seconds, and the follow-up aggression forces normal. Let's see if Equal can force the Lenny medic to pop. He does force him to pop, also force to flash Lander in a passive situation, but Avalon is quite happy with that fight, as it is still commencing though, capping that midpoint, having decent health numbers high up. Scouts can't really fight anymore. Equal cut out. Corey leaving the vicinity with a normal through the kitchen area, and they don't really cooking up anymore anything. Lenny is already hot on their heels.
NOOBPANZER is pushing in through Saw here though, and they lose Lenny and Natty Noo during all of this, so they've just kind of played ring around the rosy with them a little bit here, and they do have great positioning coming into this, but they're going to be pincered here. This is so dangerous as all the players are on, and it is normal losing his life here, and surely it should be a loss of this demo man at least, but actually it's a pretty even fight as the spawners have come in for the side of NOOBPANZER, and they do just decide to back out on the side of Avalon. They know their medic is now basically up, and maybe they can take a better refight with him alive and those hills fully out.
You know, I've just disconnected my brain and sort of accepted the action that is unraveling here, but I just had a clear, just a moment of clairvoyance and realized I think the 1-0 came in the first like 5 or 6 minutes, and now we've watched at least 16 minutes of last holds, but not as long as you'd usually expect, but only those second pushes coming out, and people are really only fighting for that high ground, and it's not going to enable them all that much. Mush is going to come in though. Can they find some consequential damage onto Lenny? He does juke out. Natty Noo is sold for his efforts, and Mush tries to bomb in, gets gunned upon, and the Scout only firmly then some seconds on that point. Cap time. Corey falling in the end.
Absolute chaos push into that left side. They just wanted to see if they could catch some players, but unfortunately I think the soldiers went a little bit too deep. I think if they kind of played the spam game for a little longer and then just pushed as a big unit, it maybe would have been a bit of a better push. But either way, Barcode came out of that right hand spawn and got a nice body shot to kill, and yeah, that would have set things straight back. Either way, so not too bad in the end of things. It's going to be cookie cutter on both sides. I was maybe thinking Hexerry was staying on the spy, but he's actually going to go to the sniper here, so got to be careful of that because he's been really good this game. Mush tries to skip through that left hand side, unfortunately loses in live. Lander doing a great job, also managed to get a second, and then Rochester comes in and gets a third here, and surely this is the opportunity for the push out.
Another failed last push. You ask yourself, why would you even push out? You can't push out, especially if Normal gets his head scrutinized. A drop that was Hexery peeking forward with that very long sniper rifle, and GG has to timidly try to circumvent those soldiers. Mush though, it was a distraction for Mush to get into Lenny, completely snucking in behind, full drop on that medic. It was not a red flag, it was not really telegraphed, so we had a 1v1 trade, and what that means now is for Normal to have at least 30%, probably even more 40% advantage, and the benefit of the heals. They can push the second point surely without using any Uber, because A, they don't have Uber, B, maybe be fast here. I don't know what they're waiting for. Like, you have all your players up. can go.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not actually sure what they're waiting for. I feel like they should be as fast as possible, but you were right, it's about 40% advantage coming out of things, and this could actually be huge. This is their biggest advantage we've seen, at least in this round, for them to try to push here. Mush does go down at the start of things, so maybe that's what they were worried about, and this sniper is up as well, and he's been doing so much, and he is just such a threat here. They are fearing so much, but he's maybe overextended here. They need to be a little bit careful. We'll get him out, but yeah, 80% Uber for normal here, only 40% for Lenny. Surely NOOBPANZER are just going to be pushing this issue as fast as possible. Looks like they want to kind of do that chaos push through left side again, but they have that advantage, so they can go deep. GG going down early is not great though, and so much spam on this left hand side. They're wasting this Uber advantage as Lenny now finally on about 60%, but you know, if they're counting properly, he should have been a little bit higher. And NOOBPANZER now, I think they might have completely fumbled the bag.
Yeah, completely thwarted. I mean, GG was fantastic. He dealt 200 damage. Unfortunately, 0 to the enemy team and all of that damage to himself, and got early on denied, then only had to realize that he craters, and Mush also falling. They're losing a player so irresponsibly. I'm already a little bit off taken since it stays 1-0 for Avalon, and NOOBPANZER can't push that last point for the sake of them being handed now at least 2, maybe even 3, 2.5 Uber advantage pushes, but never able to seal it out. And you can already see that Normal is scared of the sniper. He rightfully and correctly so should be peeking behind the crate area.
Yeah, they've just been so solid on the defense from Avalon, honestly. They were doing such a good job on their pushes, and then on their defenses they're doing, you know, maybe an even better job, to be fair. They're just not losing anyone in bad places. This sentry gun is not going down easy. Hexeri is moving around all the time to try to put pressure on. However, he will go down. GG, first time on the sniper, will instantly take down Hexeri, so maybe that's all they needed. It will be a trade for Corey, however, so going to make things difficult, but oh, I was going to say, getting in through that shot's going to be huge, but they absolutely decimate them. Mush will get that one trade in, and they will get the Uber used as well, but oh, it's just looking so bad for NOOBPANZER.
Normal tried to heal his players on the right side shutter area, but he was already shot down to about half HP and backed out a little bit, and that meant that rendered them losing 3 players in the end result. I want to be an advocate for this experimental cup. I mean, I know that they're probably staying here on last, but we're not testing out any sniper shenanigans. I want to see the gas passer pyro, but we haven't really seen that yet. Why should Avalon do that? It's the repeating vocabulary that we are engaged in. They don't need to push. They can park the bus 2.5 minutes until another mid-fight maybe resets. So Hexeri is on spy this time around. I don't know. He's just checking force of classes.
Yeah, he is here, and it will be Cookie Cutter once again, already on 70% on normal here, so should be setting up for trying to get some pushes in here. They are aggressive on this left-hand side. Now, I think this is about the 3rd time they've tried this. I was going to say maybe it's 3rd time the charm, but already losing Corey here. This soldier's so deep in, it's going to be taken down by Lander. Do trade out for Natty Nuke, so that's a soldier down. Maybe you can find something in lower if they are quick here, but that sentry gun is also watching it. Lander has just had an absolute field day with defending this right-hand side all game.
Corey just had the call that Lander was weak, so he rushed in, but he rushed into a sentry gun, and no one else was really defending him, and there was no complementary and like accompanying damage fire there from these soldiers coming in. So I'm not really sure what they wanted to do there. Yes, they wanted to pick up Lander, but that was like 20% play. Equal once more, losing his head. Mush bombing forward. Hexeri takes a fair and square rocket. Lander always seems weak, but only then. That is an ephemeral state. He gets bolted up to almost full fitness. Hexeri now pressured but defended by a soldier. You can see they're always intermittently changing out their resources and trying to bait players in. And NOOBPANZER are not replicating the same, and they're not going in together.
Corey sapping the gun though. Now they do get the sap, they get the force of with a soldier just instantly coming in, and he might even actually keep his life now. Mush unfortunately is cleaned up there, but yeah, getting that force is huge here. If this sniper doesn't get anything as he peeks in this main door, yeah, it's going to be actually so good for NOOBPANZER. This is a huge opportunity. This is basically their last push. Once they get their spawners up, it's only going to be about 30 seconds remaining, so hopefully they can make this a good one.
I mean, is it good? Is it good? Now it gives me the opportunity to get an aneurysm if they just fail this last push once again. And he's already up to 40%.
Yeah, it'd be tragic, but it's barely enough time. He's been doing such a good job of building all games, so I wouldn't be surprised if he does manage to take it close here. But surely they know they need to go for something, and they do. They go in through this shuttered door here, nice and aggressive, but they're not really getting too much. A little bit of cap time at the start. This sniper is being such a menace, and they're all on this right-hand side. This soldier bomb could crush, but no, it's not going to get in. There's banners out, there's everything out, but there's a lot of cap time out as well. They need to be careful, and they're all clumped up, but the kills do look like they are going to be going to the side of Avalon here, as this round should be resetting any second.
Such a split effort. Inland Empire 2006, still decent date, is going to get cleaned up on that left side, and it's not going to reset since Lander and Hexery are trying to cap that second, and there is no opposition for them. Now they've netted themselves 80% Uber advantage, as in opposed to just let it reset and then start on a mid fight. You only are faced with GG and Equal on the high ground, and then Corey clapping himself in the face with this Boston Basher, 50% up in the Medigun of normal so far, and the repeating Dia show that we saw before. They don't probably even want to push here, they're just parking the boss in second.
Yeah, no need, right? Yeah, we've been saying all game they can just chill, they can just park the bus. I mean, if they hold this, they win the series here, but I always find this to be a risk, right? When you don't take these pushes, it feels like it can go so wrong so quickly. If your medic gets forced or he dies here, right, you've just lost last point, and for what? You had such a huge advantage throughout all of this. Why not try to push it here? But I think it's just kind of the game theory. We've seen it work from some of the top teams, so why not try to kind of emulate what they've been doing? And they've been so solid about defending Lenny here throughout the whole game. We haven't seen any funny market gardens or any shenanigans like that, so they can be maybe a little more assured there's going to be cookie cutter, and that's exactly what's happening. It's just spam from lower here at the moment, trying to find a little bit of damage to try to go on for Lenny, but he's only really been taken down by about 20 HP during absolutely all of this. Is a soldier bomb in deep here onto this medic, however, cleaned up quickly is mush, and no one else really coming in. A couple of stray pipes here and there, but they're kind of just chilling now. Once again on Avalon, we'll see if they want to send a counter sack or something.
Very weak players on Avalon, but admittedly, you mentioned it, boring European game theory, but only 1 minute left in the gears for NOOBPANZER to push the enemy team and this entire game to a third map. They are down 1-0, they lost process, and already Normal is a little bit split from his team, cast and forced into a pretty passive position and forced to use this Uber. It's already 50% tick down until Lenny needs to pop the defensive Uber, and this should be the last rotation in this fight. Let's see if they can make it work here on NOOBPANZER.
Yeah, it's a dry fight now. They didn't lose a single player on either side, so actually a really nice push from NOOBPANZER. The banner does come out here, so going to be given some extra health, but they are absolutely just collapsing. If you can't do enough damage, it doesn't really matter, and losing their star player barcode could be absolutely huge here. Natty Newt not able to go massive enough. And this is exactly what I was talking about, where, you know, if something does go wrong and doesn't go perfect, it could absolutely ruin your game and not go in your favor, as they're already onto last on the side of NOOBPANZER. Can they come in and defend? Spawn is coming out. It's a spoon trying to get something, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Lander is just destroying them on this point.
No way they lose this. I can't.
He's him. Hey, you can't just hit everything.
I don't
that
know,
was
man. Like, there are
insane.
3 people just scared of a demo man who's on 100 HP, and they don't even jump toward the point. I know that he was well sticking off that point, but I can't, man. Avalon win that game 2-0 in terms of maps, but honestly, man, a 4-player push there against a medic who's not healing the demo man, and then the demo man joining in on the fun. But you mentioned it, sometimes things can go definitely awry, and whenever you are in those shoes, you know, where you don't take the risk and don't push out, then it goes sour and you lose that. But apparently not if you're Avalon, because then still you clutch it up with Lander.
Wow, insane. I'm still struggling to recover from what I just saw, just hitting every single pipe there, just decimating on what looked like, yeah, it was looking good for NOOBPANZER. They kind of played their game plan perfectly, and all they had to do was get on that point, do enough damage, but the spawner just came in, did enough here, and it will be Avalon just barely taking it by, you know, the skin of their teeth there to win that second map 1-0, so they will be advancing straight onto that semi-finals.
I thought I was not hydrated enough since 35-degree outside, and I thought I got a Fata Morgana or something similar. My mind was playing tricks on me, but no. Again, I'm going to get some clairvoyance and say that's it for NOOBPANZER. Strong show, but always lacking in the neuralgic compartments, being 10, 20 seconds, 1 or 2 opportunities short, especially if you consider Process was so close as well, and this was also close, even though the scoreline is way less advanced, only 1-0 on the side of Avalon, but that is all they need. Quick cursory glance, as always, on the final logs here on Snake Water. Let's look at kills. Hexery 21, 6 deaths, 3.5 KD. This time around, Agent not, I wanted to say Agent not being the top fragger. No, he is not, but he only has 2 deaths. He has a 8.0 KD and 12.0 KAD. Absolutely crazy. Medics normal 7 deaths, Lenny 5 deaths, 1 drop out of Lenny, 3 drops out of normal this time around. The tables have flipped, and it is a 1-0 for Avalon. So those scouts, we were mentioning them before, were able to get the damage in. Lander also able to control those choke areas, got a lot of damage, especially in those last defenses. You have to read the logs in mind, as that much in mind, that at least 25 minutes of the game were played on Avalon's sort of last or their last second holds, and obviously the offensive team is going to suicide into you.
Yeah, I mean, you can't see it on the stream logs, but in the actual logs, Hexery has 9 minutes on Sniper, and I think that's all you need to know for how long they were on last there. Yeah, crazy long time, and it could have gone so bad so many times. They kind of set a couple of things up that were really good, a couple of really nice forces, but maybe just played it bad in their last pushes themselves to kind of come in. So yeah, it could have been so much more for the side of NOOBPANZER. Unfortunately, just not really able to to clean up and get those crucial rounds that really should have been theirs. And I think, I mean, it doesn't matter too much, right? It's just a cup. But yeah, maybe if they're looking to play season, some things to think about. But I think this is maybe more of a friend team, to be fair.
Could be just also try to iron out some individual mistakes, maybe if they're not even playing in those very set and strict compartments, maybe 1 or 2 players that you get into the season. But that was a very entertaining quarterfinal. You have to keep your eyes peeled, since we have an all-night Sunday action on this experimental cup, where we wanted to test out some weapons. We didn't see the gas passer still, we didn't see the base jumper, but we saw brilliant Market Gardener action. Not as much as we maybe expected, but we saw some drops, so stay tuned for that one. The semi-final will be upcoming in around 1 hour, and in the evening, or at least like 6 or 18 CET. That will be when the final commences. But I have been Domato. Maybe you are forced to listen to my voice a little bit more, thanks to not Steven, who was serving his namesake on the very first map because he was not there, but especially joining me in that second, or the whole duration of that second map. Stu was on production. We will see you in a short while. Don't go anywhere, or maybe just grab a drink, but we'll see you in a second.